And hey there, today on Satisfactory, I'm going to give you some tips on organizing your factory, make it nice and simple. And I think the simplest method I found is using the line system. Just a line system and a conveyor belt stacked up together, and a double conveyor belt system, one going one way, one going the other one being a feeder. And with the proper spacing and the proper lineup system like this, your factory can be nicely organized, nice and simple, easy to do, and easy to repeat and add on more resources as you go on and carry on with your factory as it gets more and more complicated. As you know, the more you play, the more complicated these lines get. And if you have a base of your system set up so it can deal with overflow and variable amounts, and then and it gives you indicators on when you need more resources, it's very handy. So let's go over here right here. So as you can see here, might notice here, this is the only wall. This wall right here is for the space that you're going to need for your conveyor belts, and this is where you're not going to build your roof. So before you can even start doing this, you got to make sure you have your splitters and your mergers unlocked. Before you do that, you really can't organize your factory very much at all, and your basic resources. Just worry about getting enough resources so you can start building in the air. Of course, you want to build in the air as much as possible and get wherever you are in the map to get as much area as possible. That's why I picked this height right here, because of all these little bumps going on right here underneath here and all the way over to there. This will give you the most room for this area, because this is where all the this is where the iron is, and this is where I wanted to start. So that's the starting point, and that's the basic reason why. But let's go to the line system right here and the spacing of these conveyor belts, which it matters because of the way they work, and the distance between them, the splitters and the mergers and the lifts and stuff like that. So the way I started it was right here on this line right here. So it doesn't matter where you pick it, but it is simpler just to have when you're using these lifts, the stackable lifts right here. It is a good place to have it right there on the line right there, just so you know. And the other conveyor belt system is going to be on exactly one space away, the same distance across. So this space right here will be nice and perfect for using a splitter and a merger and a lift. So if I had a lift in between here, like we have down here, this works perfectly. What the hell is going on? There we go. That was weird. I'd never seen that before from a gun going that. But anyways, yeah, so the lift system right here, it connects perfectly with the spacing. It's for the lift and a merger to go onto your lines. And that's the best way to connect lines back and forth, is just using a splitter and a merger to connect them back and forth. And that's why we have the one space going on there, and we have our runoff flow going the other way, and then another feeder line for later on when I'm going to build the next things up there for the next factory. And then the same thing added down there so you can bring your copper all the way over here, and then you can smelt it and do everything along the way, just to make it easier on yourself as you do stuff. So let's go over here and explore this right here. As you can see, this is the where it feeds it up here, and it goes into smelters, and just a nice big line of smelters with splitters going all the same direction that way, then mergers going all the same direction this way, and then it merges into this line right here. So this is level 2, and right now I'm not using the level 1 anymore for the ore because I didn't really have anything for it. But anyways, yeah, level 2 is used for the bars, and then everything down here is just going to be used bars all the way. We don't stack and change it around at all. And then we go to the next level. So the output of here is the plates, and then that's going to be level 3, and that level is going to stay all the way down the factory. Is going to be that level, and that's what we're going to be using for where our resources are going to be. And we can move them back and forth. As you can see here, there's another splitter going into this line right here, and then the output is merging up to the next line higher. And then if I want to feed off and take these resources to later on over here, you just got to use more of these lifts and stuff like that, attach them to your lines. That's why we have a little bit of space in between here for where we're building, so we have a little bit room for our lifts to get there, and they won't be bugging any other lines. So they're just going to be, the lifts on this side are only be taking the inputs, and they're going to be working, properly that way. So we have all the resources coming in and coming out. And then we know where the problems are going to be by the lights on the system, because if it's all green, everything's working. If you see yellow, that means it's not working at 100%. It's just not. So as we can see here, this isn't working. That turned on. So that turned on. So as you see, this isn't working at 100%, but it's working. But we don't have enough iron bars to actually feed this line. We don't. So we need some more iron bars created to deal with all other things that we need to. So build them as we need to go. And then this one here is going to be short too, because it's feeding iron bars. But that's how you know if your system is working properly or not. And I turned this one off on purpose because I wasn't actually using any iron rods yet in this build on this part of my map right now, but I will later on. just got to turn it off again. I just turned it off with one of those smart splitters in the resources, stuff like that. But yeah, but this line here is feeding into here. It feeds in here. And when you get to the assemblers, you're going to need a little bit of extra space. In between here, as you notice, there's not much. You don't have to worry about space at all for these mergers because they can all go in one direction. But when you come over here, it doesn't work too well when you have 2 inputs and more going on there. So you're going to have to build the conveyor belt system going this way just for the resources that you're going to be using for that production line. Let's get that proper. So just the production line right here is just going to be the same thing. So nothing else is going to be in this line. It's a nice short line right now. But of course, you're going to need more of these things later on than just 2. But yeah, so you can expand it as you go and then keep going. And then of course, this is the little line right here you got to make. So this is a little space. So just have a little bit of space like this, so at least 1 and maybe 1.5. If you're not too worried about space, make it a whole full 1.5 or 2 spaces so you can have an easy access to your conveyor belts. Because once you get to the assemblers, you're going to have to use 4 lines, and then you're going to have to stack this up 4 times, and then feed it off properly on the input coming in. This isn't done properly, but it works. It's it fed off into the system here. Then you can feed it off into wherever you're going, and the same thing for the next one and the next one. So if you're using 4, you can do the same system. You stack it up here, and you feed this line in. For whatever is the lowest, whatever is the lowest priority coming in. So the third line was whatever was these ones here, and the next one coming in, and that's just your next highest one. So which is here. And so if you're doing something more complicated, you're going to feed off the lowest ones going to the bottom part first, and then you can make it onto your conveyor belt. And then when you're stacking your conveyor belt system, it's not going to be a problem. You stack this one up to level 2, and then level 3, and so on and so forth, and then you should be good to go. For your resources like that for the bigger ones. But since I don't have that for an example right there, you get the idea. It's the same thing as this, but with 4 instead of 2, and then you're bringing them all down and adjusting them with your lifts and stuff like that to feed them in properly. As you can see here, you got system right here, but yeah, there's a nice recipe you can get for screws with just iron bars. That's a nice alternate recipe to get. Makes life a lot easier going forward and stuff like that, instead of feeding it off this one here. But that's not a problem. I could have just put it in here, feed it off here, and then stuck them into there for making the screws type of a thing. But yeah, everything goes along through here. And so on. And then let's go over here, and the next part right here is where the iron bars end. So normally they're going to end over there because you don't have any other resources. And I should have built this part right here before you did this. Before you do the assemblers, you should always use up all the iron that you have possible for the the basic resources, and stick with iron on iron so it's nice and easily organized. But then you get into the copper part right here, and this is where I could have fed it into like a copper line if you didn't have the alternate resources right there. You feed your copper line and your other line in here, and that's why you use this line right here, and then you can use the splitters and stuff like that to merge them in there. So this is the end of the this is what happens when you end a line with your resources. So this line is ended with your iron bars. Nothing else is going to be using iron bars, and if something does come up where you need iron bars later on, you're going to have to just use another splitter over here, and then split it and then merge it into this line right here. And this line is spaced out enough that you can use these lifts and go as high as low as you want, and then add more layers as you need. You can go and stack it up as high as you want. Then you're going to have to stack this super high. It's going to be like 3 times higher than this to get all of your resources going. But if you can switch over and do something else different, then you can do that. So this row right here could be added into your copper. So I could have added copper ore into here, and then go with a line of smelters, and then spit out the copper bars to use on this recipe right here. But since I got iron to get the copper wires, and your copper wires spit out, and then you feed them into your cable system, and you get your cables, and then of course you have to get copper bars to use the to get the you actually have to use a copper line and copper bars to feed into the copper plates. But I haven't used any copper plates yet. I haven't got to it yet, and it's going to just keep on building this way, and then keep building my lines out that way, that type of thing. When you keep on getting things more complicated. Now dealing with the overflow and stuff like that is pretty simple. After you get your input, it comes in here. So this is the input coming in here for these cables. After there, at any point after there, I don't know why I spaced it here exactly. I think I left it open because of this part right here, because I don't know what this is going to be feeding this one yet with these lines right here. Just going to build them across, and then split. That's why I left a little bit of room so I can put the splitters and lifts through here without worrying about it. So yeah, you put the smart splitter here or a regular splitter, it doesn't matter. and you split it in this line here, and you bring it down, or you can use lifts if it's higher, like I did over there, and you bring it down to this line. This is just your overflow line. You stick everything in there. You can have it go back into your resources. You can make this stack this up higher if you don't have smart splitters yet. But yeah, definitely try and get your smart splitters unlocked right away, because it's just a little lot. It's really handy. It makes it a lot easier putting all your extra overflow you're not using. As you can see, there's not very much overflow going in right now, so it's not much wasted. And I wanted some to stack into my storage area over here, that this ghetto storage area. That doesn't matter too much, but yeah, that comes into here, and the overflow comes in here. Yeah, this is full. I was wondering why that wasn't working properly. I used the actual programmable splitter for this line right here because I wanted to see what it does. It's pretty neat. You get that. This is really hard. It's a lot later to unlock this one right here, but you just can keep adding more items and stuff like that. Yeah, we don't want any, so let's get rid of that. But yeah, you stick it on overflow for the center. You do the same thing with the splitters for the real lines right here. You can do the splitter, just leave it on overflow and modular frame for this one, for example. And make sure your conveyor belts are the same speed for both of them, because if this one is slower than the this line right here, the overflow will kick in, and you won't get all your resources, which kind of sucks if it's too slow. So if I had this line going right here like this, and the two little things popped over here like those modular flames, if they came on too close, they would skip and go over to my awesome sink. And you don't want that to happen, so let's fix that. Well, you can't have that happen if you don't. You really don't care. You get points for it anyways. But yeah, everything comes in here and gets split into your line, and you could do this anywhere you want and have it a little bit more organized than what I have right here. You can, you build your line closer to where your stash is going to be. So I could put a line right through here, or make my stash go in a different direction, or bring everything down. It doesn't matter. It's just the overflow line. And then it's just, simple overflow into your awesome sink. So when you get your awesome sink unlocked, make sure you're using that right away. The important recipes we have in here are just going to be majorly helpful for your organization. Like the little holes right here. You don't need these holes, but they're just nice to use. So you're not clipping and stuff like that. You're gonna have to make a big hole, because when you can't fly and you're running around, you might accidentally fall down through your big hole and fall to the ground. When you can't fly, it kind of sucks when that happens, if that happens. But yes, that's why you can unlock that right away. It only costs a couple tickets. And then of course the other thing is these things right here. You should get this one here, like first, basically the little roof one right here that connects to the roof. It makes it a lot easier for organization. You bring stuff straight up, and then you have a whole bunch of holes on your other levels to not worry about. But yeah, you don't really need to make a whole level system like I did here. This is what I built first. All this stuff right here was built on what I needed to actually run 4 lines over here. So everything else, except for this stuff up here, this is a whole different area. Everything around here is all, even the stuff way over there, is all meant to feed 4 of these manufacturer lines right there, and that's it. So everything else coming in there from the train station above me, coming down, is just, and all the stuff right here is meant to fit those lines exactly. But yeah, that just takes a lot of extra work doing that, and a simpler system to use would be this line system, and just have everything going down one line, and then just make the line go up high and higher, and use secondary layers and third layers to stack more of these on for extra lines, because you're not gonna have enough ore. You might be in a poor zone for ores and stuff like that. You might hit your conveyor belt limit, which is where you're going to be limited at right there. So your conveyor belts, your logistics right there. When you're down to your 270, you unlock that one right there. You're great, but once you get to you're doing 300 ore, and then it's not going to work anymore. Is it? So you have to, and you can't double up. So the way you double up is you split it and you stack it up. So you got to split your lines and you got to stack your lines up, and then you can just make them stacked in the same row, like above here, which I'm going to be doing eventually, because I got the other line down there and I can't fit more than what I have. So 600 is good enough. But as you can see, let's go into the example here on how do you expand your line, because when you're first starting, you're not going to have the full 240 ore. You're going to have do it for 120 or 30 ore, and you're just going to have a couple of these lines going. This is just expanding and expanding as you get more resources. And that's why I like the system so much, because you're just expanding in one line. So you get more ore, you can expand your smelters and get more bars. You need more bars, you process them. Whatever you need down the line that you're not getting enough of, you could just add more. So like I was making those other things over here, and that's what I recently did, was a second one of these, because this one is perfect, like 15 goes in over to here, and I just need 7.5 to make the modular frame. This is alternate recipe, so it works out nice as for this. So just one of these fits perfectly into two of these ones right here, but I wasn't getting any because you don't have any overflow, and you actually need these things to build more things. So you build a second one for yourself for your overflow, and that's, you see, I'm not getting enough screws, so it's because I don't have enough iron bars going by, because that's where you tell by the iron system, the system right there. So I was short iron plates too, so that's why I'm adding more iron plates also, and then just adding more iron plates because it takes 90, and then I need to add more screws, and that's why the system is not working at 100%. But since this is just overflow, I don't really care about 100% as long as this one's working, and this one's working pretty well. Not perfect yet. We need more ore, so let's go there and show you how we can expand our system. In case you have any questions on that, this is pretty self-explanatory, like most of this stuff, but just seeing it, how you can organize it into a nice easy way, come on, fall down, might be helpful. It's just trying to help you out. That's all. So this is my system here. I like using a little buffer right here because when you add a different level for a Mach 2 or a Mach 3, these things aren't connected automatically. The lifts aren't connected automatically, and then if you have a whole system here of splitters and stuff like that, it just gets to be a pain. If you want to, you have to think about it sometimes, and I don't want to think. I just want to get stuff done. So having it spaced out of here, just got to worry about this part right here being connected, and that's it. So let's go over here and check it out. That's why I'm at 480. I'm not maxed out yet, so let's max out this line because I'm going to need more ore, and then that's another 120 ore, which is 4 smelters. So let's go fly up here slowly in my hover jet. Come on, there's no power nearby. Okay, come on. What's faster? Not very fast. So let's go over here, and of course use the blueprint system. Once you have that unlocked, it's really handy. And of course, hover jet. This makes it a lot easier hovering around. But you have your blueprints, and then right here I got my smelters. And your blueprint thing right now for this version of the game can hold 4 smelters together. Come on. I guess I can't go down when I'm in the air. I can't go down at all. Am I bugged or something? There you go. Yeah, anyways, just a little tricky using this thing sometimes. Okay, let's go there and then go back to the blueprints and go to my smelters and make sure you have it recognized which way is going to be your input and output. So that's why I got the power poles there, if you can see. But yeah, it's lined up right here. The lineup doesn't really work very well, but you can see you got a line right there. Can I go a little closer? No, that's as close as I can get. So everything else here was pre-built on my blueprint, and then setting up these blueprints for these other lines right here is nice and simple because once you have your design in, you just change the input, just change what the factory is doing, and you're good to go. I'll show you that, how easy that is in a second. But yeah, now that we have this done right here, we've got to connect the power to it, and just adding it on. There's the power right there in front of me, and then we need to add the connect the lines. So let's go to number 5 and connect it. I don't need to add more of these things here, but I just like to make it fast. I got lots of these bars. I built the whole line, but for them after, and then we got to connect the outputs into the next line. So we got a little space right here. This all gets merged across here, and then there we go, connected. So now that these things are merged, was that even a level 3 one? Oops. Yeah, that's why. I thought I hit it to number 3. So there we go. We added in 4 more lines of bars, and that should do us pretty nicely and fix up our problem. But if it doesn't, we have to add another layer of iron bars above me and feed them into the system along the way to get this get the production line working. If we need more resources, which we're going to need. So that would be your next step: is build this next layer, feed it with another line of ore. Go right across, and then stick your outputs down anywhere you want. It's not rocket science. It's just the way you organize stuff. So you stick this other layer over here, and this is where you're going to be building, for an example. And you say you have this will be like you're building up here, even if you don't have it properly. That's why you have a little bit of a space on there if you can't line it up and get it done properly. You get the outputs coming over here, type of a thing, and you can just have your output and then your lift, and then bring your lift down over here somewhere, and then stick it in wherever you want, type of a thing. But you'd be going off, taking your thing and using a merger or something like that, like the merger, stick it up here, type of a thing, and then have your lift come over here. So you can do that like that. That'd be easy to do. So you get your merger up here. They'll all merge in, and the output is, doesn't matter. Yeah, you're merging it. Yeah, output that way, and so you lift, you go down. You just put your thing out farther, and you lift, it goes down, and then you stick it. Go on down. You stick it down over here, there, like that, and then you connect it like so, and you connect it in there, that type of thing, to get to the next level. If you want to connect it there, it all depends on where you want to connect stuff, and this isn't proper, not at all. It depends if this line is full. If you got too much bars coming in, you can stick the bars. You can just stick it over here. You can bring this line over here, so leave an extra space coming through here. Or you feed it into this line here from above here. It doesn't matter. You can just build up your lines this way here. That's why you don't build a roof above this part right here. And maybe add a little bit more space for yourself if it's going to be a problem. But it's not really much of a problem for me because I'll just go work through it. If I wanted to stick another merger right here somewhere, I can stick it right there, making sure it's not clipping anything. If I can. Yeah, it's got a little buggy right there. Maybe it's on an angle? No, that's just an improper thing. It doesn't matter. Got a merger right here. Yeah, so yeah, that merges into the line right there. And that's why this middle part is open for stuff like this. So I can just stick it right up here. And that's even easier to do, right? The same line, you just stick it up right here, and then you just have this one here, connector over across to it. Not a problem. Either way, you get the idea, and just build your lines out this way, and then as you get more resources, you're going to build more and more stuff. And right down here, we have a little system right here in case you don't have any fast way to travel besides the running and slide jumping. They'll get you across your factory pretty well. But if you want to go a little bit faster, even build your conveyor belts on the ground, and you can upgrade later on. You can just sit there and ride them, or you can run and you go even faster, and then slide jumping, you just go even crazy faster than what you were going before. Why is this level 3 now? That's weird. Go to level 5. There you go. A little bit faster. So the longer your system is, the more stuff you're going to need. So you're going to need some fast travel ways to go. Come on. There you go. Kick it in. Need some power lines. That's the drawbacks of using the hover pack. But yeah, you can land on here, you can go super fast and slide, and then kick it across your factory pretty fast using something simple like that for the extra line right there. And then organization on the other side because you're going to need lots of it. So you put your hub over here and your space thing over here and your train stations and stuff like that, and you're good to go. So this is the line system. Hopefully this helps you organize your factories a lot better, makes it a lot simpler to do, and then you don't have to worry about it because your overflow is taken care of. If you don't have enough resources, you can tell what's going to be working and what's not pretty easily by looking at the end of the line. And then you're good to go. And then you don't have to worry about actually navigating anything. Adding stuff in is just as simple as adding things down the line. So let's go over to the blueprint. I was going to show you that and how easy it is to actually do once you have it going. This is staying on the ground here, so we will come over here and then we'll just clear that and load a blueprint, and we'll just go into the copper wire. It doesn't matter which one we do. So yeah, you're building your system right here. I can fit 4 on there. That's why I have them in groups of 4. And then once your blueprint is down here and it's saved, you can just go here and select your next recipe, like the steel beams type of thing. So if I want to make steel beams, I just can stick all of these assemblers into steel beams, and then you're good to go. Steel beam and steel beam. There you go. And so you just look at the input is 60 per each one. Wow. So that's 240, and then you're only getting 15 out. 15 times 4 is 60. So 240 and 60. So I'm trying to remember that. So 240. 240. 240. What is it? Steel bars. Steel bars, and then 60. What's it called? What are they called? Iron bars? I can go there. Stuck the picture. What are those things called? Steel beams. Okay, that's the name. And then 60. Steel beams. Nice and simple. So let's go steel beams. Steel beams. Yeah, done. Got the picture. Save the blueprint. Unless I spelled the things wrong. I don't really care. But now I can just load that blueprint or print that blueprint whenever I want, and have that little section done right there. So I can print this thing out. It's going to be the exact same thing that I have built for all the other lines, stacks of 4.
So I've got stacks of 4. If I don't need 4, I can just delete the last one or not connect it, or delete the last connection, or depending on what you need. But you're going to need a whole bunch of them, so that's what you're going to build. So I'm going to need to get another line, and what I would do for myself is I would feed another line of iron ore down here. Since I had a whole one, I'd feed it up on top of this line right here. There's going to be a copper ore down here, and then I'd feed the one above it, I'd feed that with iron ore type of a thing. So iron ore would come in over here and would go down to the line until I'm done with all this stuff here, which I'm not, but everything else that gets done until I actually get to the iron ore I need, and then I put the smelters down here. So then all the smelters would be connected into one line, and then they'd all feed the iron bars, and then the iron bars would feed into that one, the steel beams, and then of course the pipes that you need too. You need both of those going on there. Of course, you're going to want lots of these things for building for your production lines until you get to level 5. The level 6 ones, level 4 ones, I don't really use too much because you can get to level 5 relatively quickly after that, and those encased beams take a while to build and stuff like that and set up. But if you're setting up with the line system, it's going to be pretty easy. I already got all this stuff lined up in full, ready to go for it for later on. But yeah, that is it. Thanks for watching, and if you have any other questions or need help with something else besides this, setting up your factory in this system, just let me know, and because I might have some ideas on how to fix it or get other things done for other stuff I did, but I might not realize people need help with it or not. So that's about it. Long video, but thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.